2019 has been a bizarre year for gaming so far. First up, there is a ton to be thankful for. The first quarter saw Resident Evil 2's immaculate remake blow everyone's socks off, Kingdom Hearts 3 finally satiated fans' needs after 14 years worth of expectations, and Sekiro is now easily one of the most considered and rewarding games of the generation so far. Even out of nowhere Battle Royale Apex Legends did the genre better than ever, and Devil May Cry 5 confidently reasserted the franchise as the name in premier hack-and-slash gaming. Then we kind of fell into a bit of a slump. Recommendable titles like Mortal Kombat 11 and Days Gone still pepper the landscape, but the likes of Crackdown 3, Jump Force, Far Cry New Dawn, Anthem, Rage 2, and World War Z started to outweigh the gems with tired, overstuffed, repetitive experiences that you might play once and then never again. It's games like these that make you worry for the future of the medium, of a world where everything is a games as a service and we subsist on a diet of crafting components, daily challenges, and random loot boxes. Thankfully, the following titles are helping stimmy the tide. You just need to avoid the fluff and put your cash down elsewhere. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 best 2019 video games you're not playing. Number 10, Observation. Hands down the best space horror I've played since Dead Space. Observation is Devolver Digital's latest acquisition as a publisher and sees you playing as a very 2001 A Space Odyssey style AI called Sam, tasked with looking after the ship Observation. Your only companion is the human Emma Fisher, and as the game opens with your research vessel appearing to spin out of control, you quickly have to reroute power to the appropriate places to find out just what the hell caused the crash in the first place. Here is where things get phenomenal, as Observation's lifelike graphics are already pretty staggering, but the overall art direction and sound design is what really brings the mystery to life. Your screen crackles, jolts, and gets interfered with by unknown forces. The various rattles and signs of life that come from around the ship seep into your periphery as you jump through security cameras, not knowing what happened to the crew or what your role in all these events was. After all, you're just an AI. Suffice it to say, I'm not going to ruin this game's story for anyone, but I adored every second. From a general love of sci-fi cinematography that nails the feel of being stranded in space, to tightly written minigame sequences that mimic AI script and thought patterns, there's nothing else like Observation, and it's all just outstanding. Number 9, American Fugitive. GTA on the Switch. Done. I mean, yes, it's also on PS4 and Xbox One, but for many, that will be enough. For everyone else though, American Fugitive is what old-school GTA might look and feel like if it was released in 2019. Clearly, developers Fallen Tree Games are huge fans of Rockstar's magnum opus, but more particularly of the older top-down iterations. It results in something that connotes just enough of that original GTA nostalgia, but with a physics model guaranteed to result in car-mangling chases or ragdoll-bodied shootouts. The really cool stuff comes from seeing how a team of fans have modernized and fleshed out what used to be Rockstar's late 90s template for GTA. We've now got things like snagging a change of clothes from a washing line to lose the cops, holding up stores for cash, crouching behind cover during firefights, or breaking into houses room by room to get valuables, items, or weapons. The latter idea is done through a minigame, but all these things combine to give American Fugitive enough of an identity on top of such an obvious homage. And if you literally just want some old-school GTA, the game's map screen and array of vehicles are all direct nods to the lineage of the franchise. Fallen Tree have been very active on social media too, saying that they'll tweak parts of the game to refine it even more going forward, but this is one hell of a showing for a first console release. Number 8, Nintendo Labo VR. In the year where VR finally makes sense, i.e. the Oculus Quest just letting you put on a headset to experience 3D motion tracking without a spaghetti pile of wires, it's very easy to miss Nintendo's attempt. Now, yes, Labo VR is literally turning the console into a VR quote-unquote helmet by slotting the screen into some folded cardboard housing, but honestly, it works really well. The Switch's gyroscopes are already some of the best in the business, and there's a uniqueness to how quickly you can switch into a 3D VR mode inside the Labo software before sliding the console back out to play something else. Hybridization is already what makes the Switch so lovable, and making VR accessible as part of your wider game library is a major step for the industry. Game-wise, many of the introductory minigames are too simple and clearly geared towards children, but there are some fantastic ideas in here, like blowing on a fan in real life to simulate motion in-game, or pressing down on a pedal to jump, only for the air thrown your way to replicate the feeling of jumping. A lot of this is Nintendo as hell, but I really love what they've done with Labo VR. It's totally worth exploring if you have the money and enjoy real-world crafting. Number 7, Katana Zero. A personal favorite of the year so far, Katana Zero is a sleek 2D action platformer taking a ton of influence from Hotline Miami and the overall synthwave movement in music right now. You play as the Dragon, a katana-wielding hitman who embarks on missions for someone who appears to be your therapist. Although there is a brilliant twist-filled story involving a myriad of characters, government conspiracies, and wahaharing villains, it's the sublime, focused gameplay that keeps you sprinting from kill to kill. Unlike Hotline Miami, here you can hold a button to trigger super slow motion. The colors bleed out of the world and the game's pumping soundtrack fades away. Here you can reflect bullets back at those firing at you or cut straight through a platoon of henchmen in one giant fountain of claret. Katana Zero also has a really neat dialogue system of interrupts and branching conversations, keeping you invested in who you are, who you work for, and what's really going on. Plus, like fellow synthwave actioners Hotline Miami and Fury, the soundtrack absolutely slaps. Number 6, Rico. For as much as the Switch is the all-seeing, all-playing pop culture console of choice, it doesn't have that many standout first-person shooters. Thankfully, I can heartily recommend Rico, an arcadey blastathon where you dump entire clips of ammunition into procedurally generated levels and tons of bad guys, mostly in super slow motion. There's a touch of Left 4 Dead's freewheeling gunplay in the physics as so many bodies fall to your never-ending shower of spent casings, and gun physics are weighty enough, with recoil making you feel every shotgun slug. The best thing about Rico, though? It can be played in split-screen co-op. Even on Switch, it delivers a solid frame rate, and although there's next to no story other than you're part of an elite squad, go seize drugs and kill stuff, it's enough for a casual few games every now and then, especially as no two levels are the same. If you took Ubisoft's overlooked Gem 13 and paired it with a more snappy Call of Juarez, that is Rico. Number 5, Falcon Age. A supremely adorable and ambitious game, Falcon Age will likely get short thrift across 2019 as it's been bundled in with tons of PSVR showcases, masking the fact that you can actually play the whole thing without the headset. You don't really lose anything too integral either. Falcon Age is about breaking free of some oppressive colonizers forcing you to mine ore for a living, only for a baby falcon to drop in through your prison window and the pair of you to escape together. What follows is a meaty first-person puzzler where the titular falcon, one that can be customized and interacted with, goes alongside a baton to thwack enemies or just interact with the environment. Combined, you'll have to weaken certain foes with your companion first, or otherwise set them up for a takedown, and with some solid writing and neat level designs, it makes for a calmer, more refreshing first-person experience. Falcon Age's budget wasn't sky high, but its mechanics and the relationship you form with your bird across the story is right out of Shadow of the Colossus or The Last Guardian. Number 4, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Formerly only available on the 3DS back in 2014, this collection of some of the best detective titles ever made is finally on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, letting millions more gamers experience the quirky awesomeness of Phoenix Wright. And let me take this opportunity to recommend the Phoenix Wright movie. Yes, there's a Phoenix Wright movie, give it a Google, you will not be disappointed. Long associated with Nintendo despite being a Capcom property, Phoenix himself starts out as a somewhat dim but good-hearted prosecutor looking to pin murders and misdeeds on criminals whose tells you could kinda see from space. Over time, he refines his approach as you get better at highlighting key evidence and deploying it at the right time. The whole franchise's tone mimicking a weekday afternoon's courtroom drama. Honestly though, the Ace Attorney games are legend for a reason. Many follow-ups and spin-offs have nailed certain character elements or investigative mechanics better down the line, but they wouldn't exist without these three laying down the blueprints in the first place. Number 3, Gotto Roboto. A charming as hell Metroidvania with a cat protagonist, Gotto Roboto will likely fly completely under the radar for the majority of the year thanks to its unassuming look and genre-dependent design. That is to say, this is a Metroidvania-ass Metroidvania. You'll explore a map one square at a time, you'll come up against very notable weapon/item-based environmental roadblocks, knowing that you're not supposed to get any further just yet, prompting you to explore and find an alternative path. Still, this is one of gaming's most dependable templates for a reason. And from Ori and the Blind Forest to Hollow Knight to The Mummy Demastered, yes really, Gotto Roboto joins this generation's best offerings with ease. Plus, the game essentially treats Kiki the cat as Samus's ball form from Metroid itself. It's an excuse to scurry through tight spaces to find better suit upgrades, only to indulge in the hilarity of a tiny cat head poking out the top of a destructive mech body. What is not to love? Number 2, Dangerous Driving. It feels like more than ever in today's gaming industry, if you want something bad enough, you've got to crowdfund it into existence yourself. Eric Baroni did so with Stardew Valley when he saw that the Harvest Moon games were starting to fall apart, Dark Seas Games made Road Redemption as a Road Rash stand-in, and now as EA continue to not give us a new Burnout, some ex-Criterion devs have just gone ahead and made one anyway. Enter Dangerous Driving, a damn near clone of Burnout 3 Takedown. Also known as the best arcade racer in gaming history. Dangerous Driving is still being regularly patched and updated, but it's already scratching that itch. Besides looking gorgeous and running at 60 frames per second on PS4 Pro/Xbox One X, handling is tight and responsive as you slam other racers into the asphalt. Watching the iconic camera cutaways show their wrecks pinwheeling through the sky. HUD elements and overall presentation are directly aping Burnout 3. And though this doesn't have the iconic crash mode yet, it is downright heartwarming to have an arcade racer doing the rounds again. It's just a shame about that name. And at number 1, Dreams. To be honest, this might end up being the defining game of the generation. Like, yes, we've got God of War, The Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Zelda Breath of the Wild, but Dreams fundamentally unravels the very fabric of what video games even are. At time of writing, it's still in early access, but that amounts to the entire creative suite of software, hours of tutorials, and access to the community's uploaded levels, level assets, pieces of music, etc. Although you can totally treat this as a Mario Maker-style deluge of pure creativity, seeing what the world has come up with when given access to programming tools, you can also spend hours understanding how every game you've ever played once came together. It's genuinely fascinating working out how level triggers, AI scripts, and even the most subtle animations all connect to one another to create a video game. No other title, documentary, or interview will ever do the gaming industry justice quite like molding the digital clay yourself, and for that, Dreams is exemplary. And those are my picks for the best 2019 games that I don't think anywhere near enough people are playing. Let me know down in the comments below which ones you would suggest. I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com. Please check out the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast, and I'll catch you soon.